Yamaha. Linfoot, can he take advantage of pole position here when the lights go out? They held him for a long time. Oh, he got a nasty jump off the start. That may have given the advantage to Peter Hickman on the inside. And the big Lincolnshireman keels into Copse corner. Good start for him. And could it be that Laverty got through as well? Michael Laverty, number 7, is absolutely no slouch off the starting gate. And I think it might be Linfoot who's up there with them. So Peter Hickman, who finished 3rd in the first race here last year, has grabbed the lead for JG Speedfit Kawasaki. And the Lincolnshireman was able to lap fast during the first race. Who says he won't be able to do it in the second one? Jack Kennedy there gets lifted up as they go through Maggots.
Yeah, that's Hickman, Michael Laverty, Dan Linfoot, his teammate O'Halloran, and it's Danny Buchan, number 83, on the less talked about Ducati up there in 5th.
The two Hondas again getting brisk starts in 3rd and 4th places as everyone arrows round Stowe corner. It must feel thrilling when you're just centimetres away from the person alongside you. Christian Hitton's got a poor start from the 3rd row of the grid. He's got a lot of work to do from the mid-pack. Someone's off. As they went into Club corner, that's Billy McConnell. I think it's Billy McConnell on the FS3 Racing Kawasaki. Still, this is their test weekend. They could have done with Billy out on track to get as much track time and info as they possibly could out of this weekend. Number 20, Jenny Tinmouth she had a technical problem just before the start, but they seem to have sorted that out, and the Fireblade's out there. And Peter Hickman is still striding out at the front.
Yeah, Dan Linfoot had a little bit of a look and a semi kind of lunge at Michael Laverty there at the loop.
Semi kind of lunge.
Yeah, like he was. He didn't sort of force the issue, but he did have a look.
I'll tell you what, if the roles had been reversed, Michael would have forced the issue.
I don't know. I mean, well, whatever you say about Michael, he is considered as Shaky moves through under the...
Oh, with that view, just for a moment, of the Panigale, James, with that single side rear swing arm, it looks almost as if the rear wheel's detached completely from the rest of the bike. It is floating along behind it.
Yeah, he didn't want to say anything on the grid, actually, didn't Shaky, but I've got to say, he does look nervous. It's a very stiff bike. There's no kind of movement or give in any of it, and it doesn't look the easiest thing to ride around here. It's quite bumpy here. There's lots of sort of brake bump. They're laid down by the cars when they brake.
That would look like Christian Hitton's scything his way through.
That's the word.
That's got inside Danny Buchan into 6th place. Leon Haslam is looming in 9th place from way back on the grid. There he is, the pole setter. Look at that, the man who set off from pole position would have suffered a technical issue. First time out is well up with the leaders now, just behind Danny Buchan and ahead of Lee Jackson, number 14. As Michael Laverty once again thinks about a move at the end of Stowe corner. Well, that Kawasaki's quick, James. Even with the big Derbyshire-born Lincolnshireman on it.
Yeah, it's a little bit quicker with the little Derbyshire man in the form of Leon Haslam. I mean, Leon's come from the 5th row, so he's not doing so bad there. Hickman's impressive, though, do you think?
I said to you, didn't I, that he's had a race win and 2nd places at Cadwell Park, a 3rd place here. He's well proven on how quick he can go. And it looks as if Jack Kennedy's using an awful lot of discomfort with that cracked bone in his wrist, might be pulling out.
I hate to admit this, because it doesn't often happen, but you've been dead right about everything this weekend.
It's all going to go wrong here. Oh, Michael Laverty does cut through and just ever so neatly clips his way through on the inside. And that's Peter Hickman back to 2nd place, just in front of the Hondas.
Shaky's through now into 4th.
And once again, Shaky Byrne making the sort of move that he did only a little earlier in the race this time.
Yeah, remember, Shane Byrne had a softer 0 tyre in the rear of that Panigale in race 1, and now he's got the harder one. This should go a little bit longer for him.
Leon Haslam is past the Lloyd's British Motor Repeater Ducati, the red and white bike, number 83, Danny Buchan. And behind Danny, it looks to me as if Luke Mossey's in there, Richard Cooper's in there, James Ellison from a fair distance back on the grid on row 6 is lying 12th.
Quite a lot of differences between the number 83 Ducati of Buchan and Shane Byrne's Ducati number 67. If you look, the exhausts are particularly different. They've got to have that long looping pipe under the seat to give the rear cylinder the amount of downpipe it needs and make the engine run properly. But then the exit of the exhaust, the actual exhaust flow, comes out of the front of the collector box underneath on Shane Byrne's, and it's on the rear of the collector box on Danny Buchan's. Completely different system. both working well.
I'm impressed. I'm really impressed with the depth of your technical knowledge there, James. Number 7 leading the way then, Michael Laverty, as he did pretty much throughout race 1. Hickman, though, right there with him, just a bike length adrift. That's a beautiful shot as they go round the round Stoke Corner. Not quite, it doesn't hold long enough for us to check the difference between the rear end of Shaky's bike and that of Danny Buchan's.
Yeah.
Jason O'Halloran once more proving how competitive. It was beautiful style and very economical.
Really, really economical style. Doesn't move around too much. He's a small lad, so he can't afford really to be the type of rider who needs to muscle the bike around in a big way.
This is Christian Idnert, who said he admitted that he'd kind of nursed the bike a bit too much, thinking he needed to conserve tyres in the first race, and he's obviously feeling like he's on the case a bit earlier in this race. He's right behind Shane Byrne and looks almost as if he'd like to sniff out a way past the Ducati.
Yeah, he's dragging Haslam with him as well.
Listen to the howl, listen to the roar, the bellow of that Ducati in amongst all those howling four-cylinder bikes. Here he comes, taking that early entrance to try inside. Linfoot's not having it. He's not having it at the moment because he's obviously able to put that Honda where he wants. The tyres gripping enough.
I wonder if that's what he thought. I'm not having it.
In the points, by the way, Ellison's actually dropped to 13th behind Hopkins, Guarnari 14th, Bridewell in the points in 15th, ahead of Alistair Seeley, Jakob Smertz, Harry Mainwaring Smart. 2 of those 3 riders are former race winners, just to remind you how hard it is to get into the points here in British Superbikes.
Yeah, it's certainly as competitive as I've ever seen it. The fast men are always going as fast as is possible with the equipment, tracks, conditions, tyres that they've got. But certainly depth of field-wise, this is something else, this championship now.
Did we not have James Rispoli on the start line? Watching Paul Bird there on the left of picture, keeping an eye on things from the Paul Bird Motorsport BY to Ducati garage.
No, Rispoli's not riding because he's broke a couple of fingers. Ooh, hang on. That was Iden. Yep.
So Christian Iden there loses a place after almost ejecting himself from the Tyco BMW. Be careful, son. And this is what happened, James.
Yep. Yo, that I kind of missed the severity of that the first time round. That was really a painful crash.
Dear me, I think a certain degree of World Championship Supermoto racing experience helped out.
Definitely, but that's what where you're actually at some point through that, he'd think he was going to land on his backside, and you get that taste of kind of surgical spirit and kind of blood in your mouth. You think, that really hurt.
Shaky Byrne taking that novel line through Aintree to try and build up momentum behind Dan Linfoot. He's been doing this a lot of the time. Look at Hickman just hovering behind Laverty.
I don't know what to say about Hickman. I just couldn't see this, and I'm sorry, Peter. This is spectacularly good for Peter Hickman.
There are the 2 guys who are now more or less racing for 3rd place because they're just losing a little bit of time to the race leaders. Dan Linfoot booking way around on the Honda Fireblade. Peter Hickman beginning to threaten the Tyco BMW, and then it's O'Halloran crossing the line with Iden and Haslam right behind him, and then Mossy, Jackson.
Iden slides under Byrne.
Did he actually get it that time? Wow.
Yeah, I think he did.
That's impressive if he did, to get Shaky Byrne.
No, sorry. No,
he got a bastard O'Halloran.
He was a red bike, Jack.
Yeah, that'll do. Meanwhile, the blue and white bike is there. Leon Haslam isn't able to, at the moment, he's been in 7th place for a couple of laps. He's not been able to progress from there.
Hickman,
meanwhile, his teammate from the quiet side of the garage, look, who's just been, and here comes Shaky. Lovely move on Dan at the end of the Hanger Straight.
Yep. Really nice.
But he's got rather wide.
That's always the danger there. Problem is, as well, you keep, if you're doing that consistently, you're holding yourself and the other person up.
On the last lap, by the way, Hickman, fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 6.4 against 2 minutes 6.46 for the man in front of him. So they're absolutely evenly matched.
And have you spoken to Peter this weekend?
No, I haven't.
Fit, strong, looking like he's got a little bit of a tan. That always makes you look a little bit healthier, doesn't it? But
Well, he in particular, because he's a pasty lad.
he just looks like he's ready for it, yeah.
So leading them with that duo are dueling for supremacy at the moment in this race. Laverty just looks, he's looked absolutely
steady.
Relaxed.
Yeah,
And, steady.
Absolutely steady, yeah.
Doubtless that's about to turn into... What's happening with James Ellison? He's now slipped back to 15th. He's the last point scorer ahead of Seeley and Smertz, Mainwaring, Smart, Glenn Irwin and the top 20. There's number 47, Richard Cooper, just behind teammate Lee Bob Jackson. Those two runners have tied together for almost every race they enter since they've been teammates.
Haslam now passed to Halloran.
So Leon Haslam has made a move then into the top 6 as Hickman once again lets Michael Laverty know that he's there.
You wouldn't do that if you're Hickman. You would have a go at leading, wouldn't you? I think you would.
Well, I wasn't meaning he wasn't trying to take the lead. I think he very possibly would like to get to the front because he's certainly hovering close enough. 6th lap of 14, British Superbikes, race 2, Silverstone. Shaky Byrne, who experienced victory at Silverstone for the first time, also on a Ducati back in 2003, also for Paul Bird's team, on his way to the title.
When you watch him on that Be Wiser Ducati, it snaps. If it's perfect, it looks perfect. But if it hits a bump wrong, gets a little bit of movement from the tyres, it just looks sharp. Yeah. That's what it looks.
And he's such a beautiful rider, really. He can almost make it look comfortable, can't he? He's just so well set up on the bike.
He says it's comfortable. I said it looked sharp and it looked kind of...
Look at him! I think he is having a look. I think he's definitely keen to get through.
I don't blame him. You know, sometimes in some careers you never get a chance to lead a British Championship race. Have a go. I know he has done before, but take the opportunity, fella.
Well, following on that excellent 3rd place here last season, it's... and here he comes. Peter Hickman cuts his way through back into the lead. Now, that's the first time that Laverty has lost the lead at any point today. Not for long, for about 50 metres. So he throws the Taiko Suzuki back again, but runs wide onto the curb. That doesn't help him. And Hickman is at the front as they attack the Wellington straight.
Hickman's been quick there, though. Hickman, through that little kink onto the Wellington, has been quick every lap, but I thought that might happen. I didn't think Laverty could get him back there because that's been strong there as Hickman.
So through the left-hander at Brooklands, and then the long 60-mile-an-hour second gear right-hander at Luffield, and then it opens out. You have to hang in that turn for a long time, and then it opens out through Woodcote. But by this time they're howling through at over 130 miles an hour onto the start and finish straight.
Hickman leads. Brilliant. You know, some time ago, a long time ago, in my early days in the big class in the 750, it was TTF1 then, in British Championship. They did a silly thing, and they paid you really good money. Hopkins out,
Hopkins is
Hopkins out.
John Hopkins in trouble with the E-Pay Me Yamaha. Not a great start for them with Stuart Easton, his teammate, down in 20th place. James.
Silly thing in offering the leader over the line every lap got like a substantial amount of money, like 500 quid or something, and you went nuts for it. You do anything, all sorts of flamboyant and dangerous, wacky braking moves into the last turn.
Look at that, the number of bikes on the hangar straight all at once. There's actually at the moment, folks, someone's gone straight
Haslam,
on.
I think, maybe Haslam.
Haslam's disappeared.
No, he hasn't. No. He's back on track, but it was the widest line you've ever seen around Stowe.
Dan Linfoot's having to cut it. Oh, he's cut his way back past Christian Iden. I beg your pardon, he was in 4th place as they went past us last time. Iden got him briefly, and now he's cut back into 4th place on bike number 4. But Christian gets the drive, does he, coming out of club? And he does as they launch through the fast right-hander at Abbey. We're on the 7th lap of 14, almost reaching half distance here. And I was going to say the gap, James, if you check it, it's 4.8 seconds from the leader to Tommy Bridewell in 12th place. That's how competitive this is.
It just is, isn't it? It's competitive. And the rules are such now that it's not impossible to build a bike that's very competitive.
And these at the moment we've got Kawasaki, BMW at the front, Ducati in 3rd, BMW again in 4th ahead of Honda.
Hickman rushed in a little bit there. You see the front moving, then laid it in. The back went a little bit as well.
can hear the threatening, bellowing Ducati there in third place. Oh, Shaky's laying it down, and he's just spinning up the rear wheel, as you guys appear to call that. How on earth you can do that and stay on the bike, I don't know, but it looks impressive.
He actually does look to be riding as hard as we've seen him ride for a long time, Shane Byrne.
And he admitted to that at the end of race one.
That's a tight one, is that? That is such a tight place to pass. I was surprised there. Maybe he's been listening to you, Michael Laverty, because that was a brutal pass.
And that's where he snatched the lead right at the beginning of race one. So it's obviously a favourite spot of his.
It is. That would shock you. You've got to touch the brakes halfway down. That's a brutal pass, that. But he did it as clean as you can do it there.
And that's... Oh, and Danny Buchan's put... I was going to say, Buchan had dropped down to just on the fringe of the top. Still hanging
I
in
think
there.
he's got problems. And I'm not sure, that might be a break. He seems really bad on the brakes now. He seems to be losing everything going into the corners, from braking to turning. Did you see how easy Hickman got past him at Stowe?
Yeah.
Really quite easily.
So there he is on the Tyco BMW, number 7, Michael Laverty. Can he recover from whatever's ailing him right now? As we watch Hickman drop into Copse Corner. It's now Shaky Byrne in second, Christian Idden in third. And just check out that lap time for Laverty, 2 minutes 10.0. He dropped about 2.5 seconds on that lap. Peter Hickman still looking powerful and forceful at the front. He's on the 9th lap now of 14.
And these are not particularly quick times, you know.
No, because the best in the race was 2 minutes 6, and they're now running 2 minutes 7, and well, 2 minutes 7.1 for Idden. He was the fastest man on track on the last lap.
Yeah, 5's in practice so for the fastest man.
Look at this, here comes Mossy. He's been waiting for a while. Well, there's definitely something wrong in the braking area for Michael Laverty.
Definitely.
Oh, we're not so bad on the corners, though. Dan Linfoot dropping back a little downfield. This is Christian Idden. We're now being mithered by Leon Haslam, but Linfoot's lost ground. He's now behind Lee Jackson, number 14. So that we've got 2 riders who seem to be progressing backwards at the moment. And Christian Idden is now closing, as he did in the late stages, remember, before he had a huge moment in the last couple of laps of race 1. He closed on Shaky.
Not that the rest of the guys are, but one thing about Idden is he's such a thinking rider. Weighs everything up, figures it out over the whole race. You know, he's quite clever. A lot of racecraft there with Christian.
So this is a great race going on. These guys, look, O'Halloran's right in the mix, and Haslam is properly in the mix. Last lap times 2.8, 2.7, 2.71, 2.73, 2.75. All of them right on the pace, the top 5. And they've opened up that bit of a gap over the Laverty, Linfoot, Mossy, Jackson, Cooper gang. Ellison's having a strange race. He's now back up to 11th, ahead of Bridewell. Chianari's disappeared to 16th. What on earth's going on out there? Oh, that's Jakob Smertz attempting to get the better of number
Glenn Irwin.
2, Glenn Irwin, and getting sat up. There's 2 boisterous riders together, and they are battling over 14th and 15th places, so they're both in the points. They're both in the points ahead of Keogh.
Wow. Such an impressive run this from Peter Hickman. There's Laverty.
Laverty, he seems to have regrouped.
He has got a little bit.
Mossy and Lee Jackson behind him, and Dan Linfoot, who I don't know what problems Dan has, because he's dropped back to the fringe of the top 10.
He just doesn't seem to be able to stop that Tyco BMW, doesn't. Laverty just seems weaker on the brakes than he ever has been.
Dan Linfoot having a look up the inside there. But Michael Laverty, well, he seems to have regrouped, really. This is the front 5 that are ahead of him. Shaky Byrne holding that second place, but not able to bridge the gap at the moment. Hickman looks strong. Both of them did exactly the same to the last thousandths of a second, to 7.163 on the last lap.
Yeah, fastest men on track there were Haslam and O'Halloran in 4th and 5th, both still in the 6s.
Wow. 2/3 race distance complete then. We're on the 10th lap of 14. So 4 laps to go after this one. And these are demanding races from the point of view, not just physically, but mentally, James. This is hectic stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's I mean, all racing is fairly mentally demanding, especially when having to think when you're in a group like this and get the best of it and get the best result and come up with a plan and figure out where the other people are going. But it is such a physical circuit, this on the bigger bikes.
Jason O'Halloran is right there, look, behind the green Kawasaki of Leon Haslam. And right now then we've got 3 Brits, 1, 2 and 3, 4 Brits, 1, 2, 3 and 4, with O'Halloran, the Australian, chasing them.
And Leon Haslam's going to like his teammate Peter Hickman, the roads expert.
No, taking a potential, well, at least beating him here. Let's see what happens. I still feel like there's a long way to go, James. 4 laps to go now, out of 14. Hickman leads the way. I don't really want to commentate on it, I just want to sit back and watch it. There's Christian Iden, number 24.
Let it breathe a bit, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure that's what they'd like us to do back home.
Mark Smith-Howson in the JG Speedfit garage.
Not then Ollie Haslam alongside him. Mark wouldn't necessarily have been expecting to see this of his 3 riders. Hickey! Just using the curb as a launch pad there as he came out of Stowe and down into Vale. And the 3rd place man, Christian Iden, still hanging on to the coattails of the Ducati Panigale. Christian Iden, whose career, remember, has taken him via British Supersport in his short road racing career into World Supersport, where he was 15th overall with a Rostrum and Magny-Cours. And then remember that if you look at the records, there's no mention of his efforts in 2014 when he was riding a big motor in the kind of Evo class in World Superbikes, and he was constantly winning the class, but because it hadn't been amalgamated, they didn't register it on the results.
O'Halloran slices underneath Haslam with a really well set up move there,
and that means O'Halloran he's heading for that Rostrum place, isn't he? He now sees. Backs it in beautifully as any dirt tracker would.
He's not even backing it. It's not stepped out enough to be called. He's just floating it in. Lovely.
Yes.
Just nice.
Front and rear together.
Yeah.
So as he comes down to complete his 11th lap then, Peter Hickman will have 3 laps to go. He's led this race for a long while now. We've still got Laverty running in 6th place after that strange slow down in the middle of the race as Haslam comes back underneath O'Halloran. You know that Haslam's always going to be dogged. He's going to fight for his position every inch of the way, especially having suffered that bike failure in race 1.
Hickman's dad, Dave, top mechanic, and that Iden straight on. Iden.
Well, it's gone straight on.
And Dad, something wrong with the bike, just misses braking.
Oh, well, there's Peter Hickman. So there's the front 4 go through. And then the next man up is Michael Laverty. Oh, he's there in 3rd place. So
did he run off and join again where?
He's rejoined where he left off. He's rejoined in the same spot in the race. I thought he might have been able to do that. I don't know. I mean, he was definitely still on the tarmac. He didn't gain any advantage. He slotted back in just in front of Leon Haslam.
I don't know, he looks to gain a bit of advantage time-wise, not by way of positions, but...
Wow, so Hickman, Byrne, Iden, O'Halloran, Haslam, I beg your pardon, Haslam, O'Halloran. It was the other way around as they crossed the line at the end of the last lap.
Hickman's going to have this, barring mistakes.
If he can ride as securely as Michael Laverty did in race 1, and Laverty is doing, he's riding look, he's pulling away now with Lee Jackson from the rest of them. So is that weird or what? What happened to Laverty mid-race?
We're just saying about Peter Hickman's dad, Dave, former Manx Grand Prix winner himself on a 350 Yamaha years ago, but top mechanic as well, worked for a lot of teams and worked on a lot of different bikes, including the Rotary Nortons. Understands spanners, he does.
That's a lovely way of putting it. Understands spanners. And so this is Leon Haslam fighting. Leon's finding he's having to kind of thrust his way into different lines to try and either hold off O'Halloran or get back past him. And again, that JG Speedfit Kawasaki, it looks tidy there, but it's nipping at him now and then, James, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It looked to be having a little bit of an adjustment of the brake there. You do that, your front brake's operated by your right hand on a lever. Obviously, most people know that, but as your pads away, you need to adjust to where the lever starts so you don't run out of lever and you come straight back into the barn. You do that with an adjustment wheel on your left hand. Your left hand's doing a lot less work. It only works the clutch, not the throttle and the brake. So it looked like Liam was actually adjusting the front brake there.
We're on the penultimate lap of the second race of the weekend for the MCE British Superbike Championship here at Silverstone. And another rip-snorting race it's been. This is Christian Hidden now attempting to make a move on the BYD Ducati. Can't quite make it on that Tyco BMW.
He must be thinking about the shortcut again.
Yes. It didn't quite work the first time, but it could work the second.
Next race, we'll be putting a sign up that says bridge out.
Michael Laverty is lapping now.
Oh, that's Haslam wide and O'Halloran back on. It's from Leon.
O'Halloran's Honda back through to 4th place. His teammate Dan Lidford again seems to have regrouped a bit, down in 8th place now.
Laverty's going like...
He's going like stink. He's the only man in the 2-minute 6s.
He is. But whatever problem he has either gone or he's worked your way to ride round it.
So there is Leon Haslam, who doesn't need to make many more mistakes, otherwise Laverty there, number 7 on the blue and white Tyco BMW, could pounce, yes. He's certainly right back to the pace he was running at the beginning of the race when he led. No, this is great. Behind these guys, Jackson, Linfoot, Ellison, Mossy, Cooper in 11th. Irwin is up to 12th place. A much better ride for Shane Byrne's teammate.
Yeah, Shane Byrne's as close as he ever has been now to Hickey, looking very strong. Remains to be seen if he's got a plan. I still don't think the Ducati should be just quite as quick towards the end of these long straights here at Silverstone, which will put Shaky in a position not to be able to go past on the brakes in a clean move. It's got to be a set-up move round a couple of sort of compound corners for Shaky, I feel.
So as we look to see what's going to happen in the closing stages of this a race in which Peter Hickman, of course, here at Silverstone, got that 3rd place in the first race last year. Is he going to go 2 better in race 2 here?
Hickman will know he's got company. He'll probably know who it is from his single board, his crew. And he just will want to get around this lap fast, but not make any mistakes. Hit all the points, just be clean, and it's quite a big ask when you're under as much pressure as the lad is.
Peter Hickman 9th in the British Superbike Championship last year. This is his 220th race in British Superbikes, and Christian Hidden with the flame-spitting Tyco BMW is trying to find a way past a wayward Ducati Panigale. He's really, the 4-time champ's really struggling with that bike. He's hanging on to it.
I don't think he is. I think just when he does make a mistake, it's less forgiving than some other. That could be just out of setup, but it is a very stiff and kind of taut bike. But, is that Panigale?
Sorry, what I meant was kind of rest. He's
working hard. He is working hard. Yeah, he said he was. Yeah. Come on, Hickey.
Hickman is looking so smooth at the front. This is going to be...
You'd have got cracking odds on that.
So a man who started off as a teenager with Hawk Racing, with Stuart Hicken's Hawk Racing team 10 years ago in British Superbike.
You can't start off as a teenager, Jack. You've got to start as a small baby at naught, and then you build up from there.
No, sorry, started his British Superbike racing career as a teenager with Stuart Hicken at Hawk Kawasaki. So he's done 220 races. This is his 220th race.
Close.
And here comes Shaky Byrne. Shaky's going to have a go as he goes into Brooklands. No, he's not quite close enough. Hickman has to get back to the apex. He's run wide. And Shaky gets alongside him. Oh, it's a rerun of Alex Lowe's and Shaky Byrne from 2013. Shaky's got the advantage.
He's got to win.
Oh, choose the JG Speedfit Kawasaki back underneath it. Hickman got by 900ths of a second.
Did you see the slide that Shane had the last corner? He was nearly out of the seat. That was nearly a huge crash from Shane Byrne. That was brilliant ride from Hickman.
Wow. Oh. Hickman versus Byrne. Wow, what an extraordinary conclusion to this race. Congratulations to Peter Hickman and to Shaky Byrne and Christian O'Halloran, Haslam, Laverty. What a race.
Watch that again. Watch the last corner again. Almost out of shot when the camera's concentrated on Hickman. Watch Shane Byrne. He was nearly upside down in quite a big way there.
Shaky Byrne has survived 2 second places. That gets his championship off to a brilliant start. 40 points for the 4-time champion. That is a brilliant start after really working hard. And I think Mark Smith-Halverson's in tears because he's had such an extraordinarily bad start to the weekend, and suddenly he's been rewarded for the most unexpected quarter of his garage, or third of his garage, with victory in the second race. Lee Bob Jackson there finished in 7th.
Yeah, good drive from Lee Bob. Here we go, last corner. Check this out. They're going into the left now, then it goes into a tight right. Hickman goes a little bit wide. The inside, can watch. Hickman decides to cut it to the inside, then just get on the power. He has a little bit of a slide early on in the corner. Look there, the thing sliding, look, wheeling. Watch Shane Byrne. Ah! Wow. I tell you what, that
That was, I had monumental.
well, I tell you what, Shane Byrne for one is too old. Did he want that?
Oh, Peter Hickman has won his 220th British Superbike race. It's his second British Superbike race win. He's also won at Cadwell Park, but he's finally proven he can do it other than at Cadwell Park and get on top. Oh, we lost. Beg your pardon. We must have lost James Ellison during the closing stages of that race. So, if I can still talk, the result of MC British Superbikes Race 2 here at Silverstone. Peter Hickman takes victory by 0.099 of a second from sliding Shaky Byrne, sliding Shane. Christian Idden, 3rd place by half a second. 2 third places for him, gets his campaign off to a good start at Tyco BMW. Jason O'Halloran's Honda in 4th ahead of Leon Haslam. Michael Laverty mystifying 6th place after flattening right out mid-race. Lee Jackson in 7th. James Ellison, I beg his pardon, is there in 8th place. I hadn't looked far enough up the finishing table. He got the better of Dan Linfoot in their dash for the line, with Luke Mossey in 10th. 11th place for Richard Cooper, and for the rest of the point scorers for Bennett Suzuki, Yuichi Kianari, for BYZ Ducati, a good ride for Glenn Irwin ahead of Alistair Seeley on the Royal Air Force BMW, and Jakob Smertz for Smiths Racing in 15th. Just outside the points, Tommy Bridewell, Mainwaring Smart, both of them former race winners, Martin Jessup, Sam Hornsey, and Vito Yanutsos Gieling Kawasaki. The standings will look interesting because Shaky Byrne, this is what consistency does. Shaky Byrne leads it with 40 points. Michael Laverty, though, still there despite that disappointment in race 2 on 35, ahead of his teammate Christian Idden on 32. Peter Hickman, 25 lovely points for that second race win, puts him 4th, 2 points ahead of Jason O'Halloran. Luke Mossey is 6th, 1 point ahead of Dan Linfoot. Lee Jackson in 8th.